Here with Angela Dugan from Polaris, now 3 Cloud Solutions.
Now 3 Cloud. I don't yet have my 3 Cloud shirt, so I figured I would wear at least the brand of the 3 Cloud company, Polaris Solutions.
Last year they sent us coffee mugs. I had this favorite coffee mug, and in the database, all the floors tile.
Yeah.
And it got dropped, and it just shattered, so I have to replace my coffee mug.
Yes.
But, well, good to meet you in person.
I know. We've met over Zoom, and it's exciting to meet one of my new 3 Cloud teammates in person, especially because we don't even live in the same state normally, so it's not even a COVID thing. It's just a...
Well, I'm homeless.
That's true.
Yeah, so I don't live in state. I live in Florida right now, which I guess is your home state.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me about your introduction to 3 Cloud. What are you seeing so far?
Yeah, so it has been, I think today marks 5 weeks and 1 day since the acquisition. And it's funny because I feel like, I remember mentioning it on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, like, hey, our company just got acquired by 3 Cloud. And it's funny because a lot of people responded with, oh, I'm so sorry, right? And
big company bought a little company?
Right. And my response has been, you know what? Like, I have had such an amazing experience, right? Not to say that there aren't hiccups or bumps. There always are, right? Nobody's perfect. But I love that everyone has been super gracious about welcoming us in and helping us learn the systems and meeting people, right? I feel like every day I'm learning about some new nook and cranny of 3 Cloud that I didn't even know existed. And it's exciting, right? We're trying to figure out how, so I'm part of the team that we're the Agilists, which is new. Not that you don't have folks who think in an Agile way and deliver in an Agile way, but not people who are focused strictly on Agile coaching and Agile transformations and things like that. But it's been wonderful how excited people are to have us at the company.
Well, 3 Cloud seems to be able to operate community at scale. That's been my observation. So, having come from Pragmatic Works, which, a relatively small company, and we were acquired about 1.5 years ago, it just seems like the community's better. We're still working together. Yeah. We're supporting each other, and it's been a very positive experience for me as well.
Yeah, I forget that you were not part of the original 3 Cloud company as well. So yeah. So one of the other things that I think has been really great and that I totally appreciate as someone who does this herself is I feel like there are some super connectors at 3 Cloud who have also been amazing, because I remember being on a call with someone and mentioning, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be at VS Live speaking in a couple of weeks, and they were like, you need to meet Paul Turley. Right? And they'd known me for all of about 5 minutes, but they were just like, we need to get you together because I think it'd be amazing if you two could meet at the conference and kind of talk about your experiences. And and I love that people have been so willing to do that, because I think one of the biggest fears with something like an acquisition is that you'll feel swallowed up.
Yeah.
Right? You'll feel like, now you're amongst this large group of people who you don't know and who you don't know how they're going to react to you. And like I said, so far everyone's been super gracious, super willing to help us feel connected and welcome. So it's been really great.
One of the things that I've found in my career is that community makes the difference. And whether it's the external community, I come from the data community and the BI community, and within my circles, that's been the PASS organization, the Professional Association for SQL Server. But we cross bubbles with AppDev and BI and so many other groups. But that's the difference. When people belong to something important and they support each other, and there's family, professional family, that gives you purpose.
Yeah.
And I know that you come from the Microsoft MVP community, and you've been involved in speaking at conferences and networking with other people. What's that like for you, and how important is that sense of community?
Yeah, for me, that has always been a really big part of my career. Every company I've been at, including Microsoft, right? My job at Microsoft was to be an evangelist, which literally my job was to connect with communities and make sure that I was creating these, connections across communities in some cases, like people who didn't normally talk to each other. I remember going to SQL PAS, I remember going to SharePoint conferences and trying to find ways to think about how we could all work together. For me, that's just super motivating and energizing, right? Meeting people, understanding their different perspectives, figuring out how at the end of the day we're all solving the same problems, but maybe with different tools. and then figuring out how we all make each other better. So like when I left Microsoft, I was really excited to become part of the MVP community, because again, I met MVPs in all the different areas, right? We'd go to these events together and we'd start talking about the things we struggle with and the kind of challenges we see, and we realize we're all doing the same types of things. So it's great to get to come to places like VS Live, because even though I'm not an MVP anymore, I still get to see all of my old MVP friends and share stories and share learning and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know what I would do without community. Like I feel like this is just such an important part of what I do.
And we need to, I think community is not only about receiving, being able to ask questions and network with people, but it's also an opportunity to give and support and mentor others.
Yeah.
So how has that been in your career?
Yeah, so it's funny. I feel like when I first got involved in community stuff, most of my talks were very technical in nature. Not that that's a bad thing at all, but it was, demoing a product or talking about, hey, here's how you do TFS customizations. And I always enjoyed those talks, because at the end, somebody would come up and they'd say, I didn't even know you could do that, or I'm really grateful that you shared that experience was really frustrating and really hard for you, because now I know I'm not alone. And that's when I started to kind of get the bug for, gosh, let's start taking my talks like outside of technology, because at the end of the day, this is all just kind of messy people stuff. And how can I show people that like you're not alone? This stuff is hard. And then that kind of pivoted me to where I am now, which is this week I've given a talk on how to do agile metrics and thinking differently about how we measure success, not just with lines of code, but with happiness and customer satisfaction and team morale. And then I gave a talk on feedback, which was like how do you navigate kind of the messy, hard, complicated problem of feedback. And the amount of comments I got after that, where people were like, not only is this good for work, but I think I just got marriage advice. So I thought that was really fun.
Well,
because
it's all about connecting and communicating with people.
Yeah.
So much of what we do is using technology to solve business problems, but you've got people in the mix, and that's an important part of the equation.
Yeah. So that part has been a lot of fun, because it does feel like, to me, I've always said my personal like core values are generosity and connection, and community is that's an outlet for me, right? So I can be generous with my experience. I can be generous with, here's tools and frameworks and tips that I've learned. Like I just want to share and give that to you, because I shouldn't be the only person who has lived through these things and knows how to get through them better, right? And so people love being able to like hear those tips and tricks and all of that. And I think the connection piece comes from that, from people going like, wow, you were willing to get up on stage and admit that was really hard for you, and maybe you screwed that up, but you knew how to fix it.
People can relate to that when you're real, when you're genuine.
Yeah. So for me, community is like the obvious extension of generosity and connection for me. So people sometimes ask how I got over stage fright and being nervous, and I'm like, because this is giving me the things that make me truly happy. Like I'm getting up there and I'm being real, and I'm sharing the things that I've learned, and it really impacts people. And so I can't imagine not doing it. Like it almost, to me, would almost feel selfish for me to not do that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So how do you disconnect from work? How do you get away from it?
So disconnecting from work, it's funny. I feel like it's different than it used to be. Of course, over the last couple of years, we've all been dealing with very different environments and needing to be a little more, whether or not we liked it, disconnected from people. And so one of the things we discovered was we've got amazing hiking trails not too far from us. And we have a dog who she's a mutt, but she's mostly a hunting breed. She's a German short hair pointer, and so she's all about smells.
Yep.
And so one of my favorite things to do at the end of the day is, put a leash on her, go down to the forest preserve with her and my husband, and just let her wander and sniff everything she wants, and we just let her lead. And you just kind of get lost in the trails, and never too lost. Trails aren't that crazy. It's Chicago, but it's just a really great way to kind of be reminded that there's so much around you that's beautiful, and just kind of soak it in and let the rest fall away. So that's been our greatest escape over the last 18 months.
Awesome. Great. Looking forward to working with you more at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.